So good day everyone, my name is Christine M. Fuentes and I am assigned to report about the emotional intelligence. So EI, which means the emotional intelligence, it's the key to managing emotional information present whenever there are people present. EI is not about being soft, emotional, or nice. It is about knowing how to communicate clearly, work effectively, and deal with daily challenges. So ang emotional intelligence is not about dealing with our emotions. So, dili lang siya nag-talk about unsa atong ma-feel, kundi kung unsaon nato pag-conquer sa mga challenges towards communicating other people. So, mao na siya ang emotional intelligence. So, gigamit niya ang iyang emotions sa pamaagi nga makabintaha siya ba, makuha siya og kanang positive result. So, it is also kanabitang wala lang siya nagatalk og unsa ang ato ang ma-feel, di ba? So, nagtalk siya kung unsaon nato pag-face sa atong mga challenges. So, example ani, kung naisa ka company nga kanabitang issue niya is bankruptcy. So, kana nga certain company is ang iyang employer is makita siya way nga dili siya mabankrupt ang iyang company. So makig-communicate siya sa iyang employees heart to heart na pagstorya nga magtinabangay sila na mangita sila pamaagi nga makonquer nila na nga challenges. So mao na siya ang way sad sa kani emotional intelligence nga maka-help siya sa mga employer-employer relationship nga mag-build sa communication para makagain sad sila og kanang positive result, which is ma-avoid nila ang kanang bankruptcy or makasurvive sila out from that situation. So more to siya and thank you.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Rika Del Mariano, and in this video, we're going to tackle about emotional intelligence. And of course, you will be able to know why leaders should have emotional intelligence, why does emotional quotient matters, and what requires to be an effective leader. So, kung interesado kayo, panoorin nyo to. Okay, so why does EQ matter? EQ or emotional intelligence matters because it helps people to communicate effectively, lead successfully, manage emotions and stress, build strong relationships, and adapt to changing environments and situations. So EQ helps navigate their emotions and social interactions in a more positive and productive way, leading to greater personal and professional success. So what requires to be an effective leader? So effective leadership requires a combination of different skills, including cognitive skills, technical skills, and emotional skills. So the cognitive skills, these are skills related to problem solving and critical thinking and decision making. Halimbawa, memory or kakayahang makaalala, attention o kakayahang mag-concentrate sa isang gawain, language o wika o kakayahang magbasa, magsulat, magsalita at mag-intindi ng wika, reasoning or logical thinking o kakayahang mag-analyze and think logically, perception o kakayahang maunawaan ang mga impormasyon mula sa paligid, and last, problem solving o kakayahang maghanap ng solusyon sa isang suliranin o problema. Kaya ang mga cognitive skills ay mahalaga sa ating pang-araw-araw na buhay, lalo na sa ating pag-aaral. Technical skills. This refers to handling, managing technical tools or system like computer programming, web development, network administration, database management, graphic design, and mechanical engineering. So, ang mga technical skills na ito ay mahalaga sa maraming trabaho at industriya, tulad ng information technology, engineering, at manufacturing business. So, dito naman tayo sa emotional skills. Emotional skills Emotional skills. These are skills related to understanding and managing emotions, both in oneself and in others. Leaders with high emotional skills can empathize with others, build strong relationships, communicate effectively, and manage conflict in a positive way. So, in summary, effective leadership requires a combination of IQ, technical skills, and EQ. So, leaders needs to be able to think critically and make sound decisions, have expertise in their field, and be able to understand and manage emotions to build strong relationships and inspire their team. So, leaders need to be able to think critically and make sound decisions, have expertise in their field, and be able to understand and manage emotions to build strong relationships and, of course, inspire their team. So, thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe for more updates and for more upcoming videos. Thank you. Bye!
Hello everyone, good day. So today I am going to discuss to you or to tackle about the impact of EQ versus IQ in everyone's life or in an individual's life. So before we will proceed to what is really the impact of EQ and IQ in a certain life of an individual, let's have first the definition of what is EQ and IQ. Now, when we say EQ, that is EQ is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. So when we say EQ, it talks about on how to manage your emotions. Like if you, a certain person, if you have high emotional intelligence, then meaning to say, you're able to feel what others feel. So, mostly kasi pag EQ ay ginagamit ng isang leader sa isang company or in a certain organization, mostly it will really help them know what others feel. Kasi sa EQ, hindi mo ma-feel na you are selfish. Kasi nga, ang EQ is that may pakiramdam ito, lalong-lalo na sa kaniyang kapwa or his or her colleagues. So, kapag ikaw ay may mataas na EQ, then meaning to say you are an effective leader kasi mas more on, nakafocus ka more on emotions, alam mo kung ano yung ma-feel ng iba pag ginawa mo ito, you consider the decisions of others and still gumagawa ka ng mga bagay na hindi nakakasira sa kanila kasi alam mo na masasaktan sila. So that is emotional intelligence. You know how to you know how to adjust and manage your emotions just to fit to the others. So that is emotional intelligence. Now, when we talk about IQ, that is fundamental in terms of problem solving and understanding how to logically address a dilemma. So ito ay the opposite of the EQ. When we say IQ, mas mataas yung kakayahan mo, you have the ability to easily have decision or you are a decision maker. Mas madali kang makakapag-produce ng decision, but it doesn't mean na you are an IQ or you have high IQ, meaning to say, mas mataas din yung emotional intelligence mo. Mostly kasi sa ating na observe or na notice sa ating society even in a workplace, hindi talaga magtutugma ang IQ at EQ. Hindi pwede na isang tao ay mataas ang IQ, mataas din ang EQ. It's really the opposite of it. So that's why if you are having an IQ, magaling ka, it means you are matalino. But on the other side, if you are having a high emotional intelligence, meaning to say, you know how others feel. You are sociable like that. So that's the difference between the two. EQ means you focus on the emotions of others, you know how to manage them. And on the other hand, ang IQ naman, ito yung madali kang makakasolve or makakaproduce ng mga solution sa iba't ibang problema na darating sa inyong company or in an organization. So that's the difference between the two. Now, it was stated there that EQ gets you promoted. Yeah, and I really believe in that. It is because if you have high emotional intelligence, meaning to say, you know how to manage your people as well. Sa nanonotice ko kasi sa ating society, if you know how to handle your emotions, meaning to say, you know also how to handle your colleagues or your yung mga kasama mo sa isang company. Pag yung mga kasama mo ay gusto yung performance mo, especially your boss, your supervisors, then meaning to say, you will really get hired because of that ability na pinapakita mo sa isang company. However, ang EQ naman ay, if you have high IQ, it gets you in the door. Meaning to say, may opportunity ka, may maraming opportunity na maghahain or mag-open for you, pero less likely that you will hindi ka madaling ma-promote ba. However, mas maraming opportunity na yung makikater or makukuha mo. So that's the difference between the two. If you have high in EQ or in emotional intelligence, meaning to say you will easily get promoted. However, if you have high IQ, then you have many opportunity to come. So that's how they differs. Now, there are so many reasons why a certain leader fail, and according to executive derailment by Candidata of 2008, it was discovered that 8 out of 9 reasons leaders fail are as follows. First, lack of emotional intelligence. So yung mga leaders, yung mga manager, mga supervisors, or mga head ng isang organization, they really fail. It is because of their emotional intelligence. Meaning, yung gusto lang nila ang dapat gagawin. They are very mandatory. They are so very strict. They don't know, or they don't even know how to handle their colleagues or their workers or their subordinates. So that's why they will fail as a leader. Hindi siya magiging effective. You will say na ang isang tao ay isang effective leader if his or her subordinates know how to follow. So yun yung effective leader. Now, next reason why a certain leader fails is that unclear communication. So kahit ako naman, if there will be an unclear communication, then I should say that I am not an effective leader. If I don't give concrete instructions, if I don't give or command someone na hindi naman klaro, so there's a big possibility na hindi talaga kami magko-coincide yung anong gusto ko at yung gusto kong at yung gagawin niya. So that's one of the reason why a certain leader fails. That is because of unclear communication. So dapat communication is the key. So, dapat clear ito at um, yung listener also gets what you want to do or what you want to be out the output. Okay, next is the low self-awareness. So if a certain leader has a low self-awareness, he didn't even know what's in him. So, meaning to say, hindi talaga siya maging effective. How can she know others if even his or herself, hindi siya marunong makiramdam, pati na sa kanyang sarili. So, how can she manage other if mismong sarili niya hindi niya magagawa? Diba? So, that's self-awareness. Dapat, mataas yung self-awareness ng isang leader para magiging effective siya. So, poor communication. So, it is related to unclear communication. This is one also of the reason why a certain leader fails. It is because of poor communication. Yeah, and I really believe in that because I really believe that communication is the key. Now, if you have a poor communication within the team or within an organization, then there is no effective good nga mahitabo. There's no effective good nga output. There's no effective good nga leadership ang present. It is because again and again communication is the key. So meaning to say, whatever happens, communication good ang present unta dapat. So if you are having poor communication, maglisod yun mo reach out sa tanan. So that's why poor communication is one of the reason why a certain leader failed. And last is the lack of ability to lead a team. So how can you be a leader if you don't know how to lead? Diba? Paano mo magagawa ang pagiging leader if ikaw mismo hindi ka marunong mag-lead sa iyong team? Hindi ka marunong you don't know how to talk to them, you don't know how to solve any circumstances, any setback nga na ning occur sa isa ka organization. So how can you be a leader if you wanted to become an effective leader? So you need also to know how to lead a team. Marunong ka kung paano at ano ang mga dapat gawin upang ang iyong organization ay mas magpo-produce ng better output. So those are the reasons why a certain leader failed. And I think that ends my part. Thank you so much for listening and bye!
Measuring emotional intelligence, EQ, the emotional quotient. So IQ has been measured for over 100 years already. As we have known so far, every time we take entrance exams, so it is also a measurement of your IQ, and that is the basis of getting into university. So the ability to measure EQ is more recent. So according to studies, or according to the scientific merits, there are 10 ways to evaluate the emotional quotient or the emotional intelligence of a person. First is assessing reliability. So it is consistently measuring the same thing, or are the results reproducible? So whenever we measure emotional intelligence, we tend to realize how it is really reliable, or the test that we make, we really make sure if it is reliable or not. So there are specific ways on how to measure EQ, and that involves the reliability of the questions. If it really answers the question as to how far or how great is that person's emotional intelligence. Next is we have to make sure that it evaluates validity. So does it measure what it is designed to measure? So
The same with the reliability, it also measures validity. So we really need to validate the questions and validate if the answers is connected to the questions, and if those answers is connected to the question as to what really is the emotional intelligence of a person. So there is, or wala pa jud siya na finalize if unsa jud ang kanang murag way sa pag-measure sa emotional intelligence, because as far as we know, emotional intelligence can only be measured through really assessing the person personally. It cannot be validated through test or something of that sort. But scientific people, I mean science people, scientists, scientists really still try to look for ways on how to measure emotional intelligence of a person. Third, we need to examine the normative sample. Are there valid benchmarks against which individual test scores can be interpreted? So, based on the test or the type of test that was given already the past years, so is there a specific type of test that can be benchmarked already in order to get the emotional intelligence of a person? So I mean, people are still looking for the type of test that can be given, or that can be given to a person in order for us to know his or her emotional intelligence. So there are individual test scores such as I mean, there is no specific pa jud na type of test, but we are still looking, or there is still a need to look for type of test that would answer how is an individual intelligent in that specific aspect. Next is explore real outcomes. Is there evidence that the test delivers bottom line results? So, in order for us to, like what I have said as well on the first three types, or first three ways to evaluate the scientific merits, we need to explore the real outcomes. So when we give test questionnaires or type of test to a specific person in order to know his or her emotional intelligence, we need to confirm if the outcome of that is really the real intelligence of a person emotionally. So we don't assess them only through the type of test, but we assess them fully by really knowing them. So there is a needed exploration of the real outcomes, or the real being of that person. Next is examine the theory. Is the test based on an established theoretical model? So since it is based on, or since it refers to emotional intelligence, then we need to assess it to the existing theoretical frameworks already, or theoretical model, because knowing the emotional intelligence of a person, or knowing the capability of a person to be to somehow understand his or her, or his or her people around him or her, really need to be connected to a specific theory, because as we all know, the attitude of a person is already connected to specific theories. There are already a lot of theories existing by specific people and specific authors, knowing that people are also connected to a theory itself. Next is consider adjustability. Does the test adjust for misleading answers? So, just like how test questionnaires are made, it also adjusts to specific answers or incorrect answers. We need to confirm if the test given, or the way to evaluate the emotional intelligence of a person, is somehow reliable still, even if the questionnaire is adjustable, or the answers are misleading. So it should still somehow connect to the goal of knowing the emotional intelligence of a person. So you need to consider the adjustability of the way in evaluating the emotional intelligence of a person. Next is look for research. Has the test been evaluated by independent experts? So we need to confirm if the test given to a person is already evaluated by experts. We cannot tell that the answer to the questions or the answer to the ways, or let's just say that you have already given a test questionnaire, or you have already given a type of test to a specific person in order to know his or her emotional intelligence. However, that specific type of test is not yet validated by experts. So we cannot say that the answer that was given by the one who answered the test questionnaire is already valid, knowing that the test questionnaire itself is not yet validated by experts. So we need to look for researches that has already validated that that type of research can already answer the emotional intelligence, or the question as to what is the emotional intelligence of that person. So next we have the assess the usefulness. So is the test aligned with training and coaching materials, ensuring that results can actually be of use? So even though we want, or we took that test, we have given that test in order to know a person's emotional intelligence, we still need to confirm if the answers to that question or the type of test is really useful. We don't just use a questionnaire just to know the emotional intelligence. It should be that it has multiple purposes. So the questions or the ways in order to evaluate the emotional intelligence of a person should also be used in further aspects, like further researches, deeper researches, as to how important it is to know the emotional intelligence and how valid it is to know the emotional intelligence of a person to really help further in an organization or something of that sort. Next is it should explore legal compliance. Does the test comply with industry guidelines and with employment legislation? So even though that a company is just doing that specific test for them to know the emotional intelligence of a person, it should still go through legalized aspects or legalized ways. So it should still comply if it somehow coincides with the industry guidelines, or it is also a legal way to employ a person. So you cannot do, or you won't be able to confirm that that specific type of test is valid, especially if it didn't go through legal ways or something of legality. Next is, does the test require that administrators be trained and certified in its use? So in order for us to confirm as well that that specific way to evaluate the emotional intelligence of a person is certified, or it is really reliable, is for us to know if the administrators to that test are trained and certified in order for them to use the outcomes of that test to further evaluate the emotional intelligence of a person. So it really just stems from being valid to being legal and to fully applying it in an organization. So those are the ways in order to evaluate a person's emotional intelligence, especially in the workplace setting. Next, we have the EQ model of intelligence. Reuven Bar-On is the psychologist behind the EQI model of emotional intelligence. So in partnership with MHS, the model has been developed and researched for over 25 years already. The EQI model creates a tangible explanation of EI and provides clear links to business and leadership success. So here, in order now for an organization to fully somehow have clear links, and in order for the business to move forward and become like at at peace, so there is an EI model to explain the basis of an employee's behavior, or intelligence emotionally in the workplace setting. In order for an organization to have a leader that could give success to his or her team, the EI model is somehow an explanation as to how it is very important to be emotionally intelligent, especially in the workplace and in leading a certain group. So first, so there are 5 composite areas as to how emotional intelligence is connected to a leadership success. First is self-perception. So when you are emotionally intelligent, you are able to perceive yourself as someone who understands your people. So you were able to completely understand the basis of certain aspects of the organization because you're able to perceive the self in you. Meaning, you understand yourself more and you understand as well the people around you. So being able to have self-perception is or will give further peace and will give further like alignment with all the goals that you have in mind because you understand yourself and you understand what goals you would like to meet and what you want your co-people to meet as well. So next is you have self-expression. So you are able to fully express yourself as a person that anyone would understand. You're able to control yourself as to what should be done and what should not be expressed, what should be given or what should be say, what should be told to your colleagues or not, because you know how to express yourself and you understand yourself well. So being emotionally intelligent gives you the ability to express yourself and for the people around you to understand what you are trying to express. Next is it also has interpersonal relationships, meaning you are able or whenever you are emotionally intelligent, you are able to become um, it, you are able to become good with the people around you. You don't have feud with the people around you, and your relationship with the other people or within yourself as well is good, and you truly understand what what are your I mean the real foundation of your thoughts. So interpersonal meaning you understand yourself. You understand yourself and you have a good relationship with yourself. You don't just blame yourself for anything or because they say that it stems in you. Everything stems with the foundation of I mean everything stems with your own understanding of yourself. So if ever you understand yourself, you understand as well the people around you. So having a good relationship with yourself would also mean that you will be having a good relationship with the people around you. Next is decision making. So being emotionally intelligent gives you the ability to decide on things that are right or to fully stand on the decisions that you make. Decision making or meaning you have a good decision making. You don't just decide based on the idea or the point of view of one person, but you decide based on the point of view of a lot of people. So you widen your perspective and then you decide. Next is stress management. Being emotionally intelligent is being able to manage your stress. Like you don't just um, give your bad vibes to other people because you know how to manage your own stress. So you don't, or let's just say that you don't give other people the ability or the capability to judge you based on how you handle your stress because you yourself are able to manage fully the stress that you encounter. So I think that's it for the EQI model of emotional intelligence and the ways to measure a person's emotional intelligence.